Hi, my name's Piper.
Hi, I'm Elena. So would you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm a current 11th grader at Midway High School. I play various sports and I'm involved in a couple different clubs.
Where did you hear about this job opportunity?
I was talking with my genetics teacher and he said he knew a friend that works for you guys and that there was an opening.
What do you hope to gain from working here?
I would like to gain some kind of base knowledge on how a lab works and how it's all structured. In my future, I want to do something science based, so I know I'll have to be in a lab. So I feel like this will give me a good kind of starting point to my future.
Do you have any previous work experience?
I do not have any formal working experience, but I've done odds and end jobs for my family, for my granddad. I've done like a kind of mini internship with him, just doing, the odds and ends around an office.
So what about like leadership option or leadership positions?
I'm currently the vice president of my school's Key Club. It's a kind of community service club. My responsibilities are really to organize everything and make sure everything's running smoothly, make sure people know about meetings and just stuff like that. I'm also on my school's varsity soccer team, so the other members kind of look to me and all the others to guide them when our coach isn't there or in a game when they want to know what can we do to improve.
So how do you handle someone not showing up for practice, like similar to how you would handle someone not showing up for work?
I try to contact them as soon as possible to see, like, is something going on? Are you hurt or are you just unable to come in? Other than that, try to see what their responsibilities were. Did they need to bring something or were they, involved in something very important? If they were, I try to see what I can do to cover that.
Good. What have you how would you like describe your work style?
My work style is much like steps. I like to lay everything out, see what I need to do, and then approach it in parts.
When faced with an argument among coworkers, how would you go about resolving the conflict?
With really any argument, you really need to separate the two people or group of people because I find that if you're constantly looking at the thing that's making you angry, you can't really calm down and think clearly. After that, I'd probably listen to both sides of the story if there is one and see, what's the deal, what's going on here, and try to, calm everybody down while I'm doing that. After that, I would probably, infer what I've gained and try to resolve the issue if I can. And if I can't, I, stress to them that this isn't really an environment that you need to be having these arguments. Um, Either resolve it or take it elsewhere or take it up with someone else and probably report it to whoever is above me.
How would you describe yourself in one word?
Meticulous, definitely. I'm a very attentive person when it comes to detail. I like to make sure every little thing has, been looked at, has been assessed in every way possible, look at it from every angle. This kind of applies with not just my work, but also any decisions I make.
So why do you believe you're the best choice for this job?
I feel like I'm the best because I have a real passion for science. And in the lab, I'd be able to, attribute the science passion and, work hard for everything. As I said previously, I'm kind of meticulous, so I can, point out things that other people may have overlooked. I feel like that's why I'd be the best for this position.
How do you work in high stress situations? Because in a lab, you would be in some situations that could get stressful.
I think I work very well in high stress situations. I find that stress can be a powerful motivator sometimes. Sometimes you just procrastinate, and when you're faced with some stressful situation like a deadline, I find that it motivates me to, start on it and get to it. And, I like the fast pacedness of it.
How would the people around you describe you, your friends, your family?
Very loyal, not just to my friends and my family, but to my work. I always put, I assess the needs of everything and put what needs to be done first, and always do that, and never, stray and put it off.
How do you plan to improve our workplace? What can we gain from you working here?
I'm a very organized person, so I feel like I can bring that into the workspace, give it order and structure to where everything can run a lot smoother. I also would like to bring kind of not just a motivation, but a new perspective on science and a lab, because I find that a lot of people with their jobs, it gets to a point where they're very, I don't want to say sad to go to work, but they're not joyous as science should be. You should be excited about new opportunities. So I feel like I can really motivate and bring up the morale of all those around me.
Good. So would you be willing to work additional hours?
I think I'd be willing to, work outside of the designated hours to get whatever project I need done.
Good. What would you say your greatest strengths and weaknesses are?
My greatest strength would probably be my just dedication to really anything I do. My greatest weakness would probably be that I am so meticulous, as I said previously. Sometimes it can prevent me from just, making decisions and going with them. I tend to kind of overthink them.
So what's something you would say you're passionate about?
Definitely science, more specifically genetics. It's something I've always been fascinated by, and I've just always gravitated towards it in science books or the sections in the libraries. I find it amazing that we can, modify things to help people like plants, or we can find vaccines to help with genetic disorders.
What's one skill that you would like to improve upon while working here?
I would really like to improve on my leadership, my speaking and my, people looking towards me. I have had positions where I am a leader, but I feel like I have so much more potential and so much more I can offer those. So I feel like through this I can, not just help lead people, but also see how leaders go about their work in a laboratory setting.
Very true. So what's a goal that you've set for yourself?
Well, as a high school student, a lot of us, our goal is to get to college, but I'm a bit ambitious. I would like to go to Columbia University.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be very difficult to get in, but it's a dream of mine to get there, and I'm currently working and doing whatever I can to prepare myself and to present that application as the best me that I can.
That's great. What's a challenge that you faced?
Adversity, not particularly like things that are racial or things like that, but more of a adversity among friends and family. This past summer when I was signing up for courses, I put down myself for a very intensive schedule, and I had many friends and family look at me and say, you can't do that, that's too heavy, you're going to stress yourself out, you're going to overwork yourself. And it got to a point where I started to believe it. I was like, I can't handle that. But I had to sit down and think to myself, no, I can. It may be hard, it may be very difficult, but I can do something like this. And that adversity that I faced was having to, look at my friends and family, people I trust with really everything, who I think probably know me better than I know myself, and say that I have to move past this. I need to challenge myself.
That's great. It's very ambitious. How do you deal with change?
I really like change. I find that doing the same thing over and over again can get very boring. So big changes don't really tend to affect me. They actually really excite me.
Really? What trait in yourself do you value the most?
Honesty. I find dealing with people who are dishonest or are okay with lying are very hard to work with. When you say that you're going to do something and then not doing it, that is lying. Or saying that, oh yes, I've, gone and I've done this and I've this and I had this experience. Well, you saying that could potentially down the line really harm someone. And so honesty is one trait that I always look for in those I choose to surround myself with.
How do you deal with failure?
Failure is devastating to really anybody, but I like to look at failure as a new opportunity, as a learning experience. Because just because you failed doesn't mean that you can't go back and try again. If anything, this failure has shown you what doesn't work. And you can go back, modify it, and try again. And you may fail again. But it's a motivator for me. It's like you tried once, you failed. You tried again, you failed. You may even try a third time and fail. But that just means you can keep going at it.
Good. So what's your greatest achievement and why?
My greatest achievement would probably be my school science award. I received it in my freshman year after taking physical science for dedication to the subject. It was a subject that I really struggled to understand. It has a lot of math aspects to it, and math isn't my strong suit. But receiving the award after countless hours spent studying and poring over books, receiving that award proved to myself that you may not be good at something, but you can still achieve.
That's great. How do you define success?
Success isn't really defined by like money or congratulations or an award per se, but more of a sense of satisfaction with myself. The feeling that not even that I've done the best, but more of a I've given everything. I have tried my hardest and given everything that I personally have to it. Because if I feel like I could have done more, then I'll never know, and then I'll never know that I've truly succeeded.
That's great. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I would definitely like to, obviously be in college, but I would also like to keep working, to keep building up that experience while I'm in college. So further career, either maybe potentially with your company or with some other, I'll have, a good basis, a good, reservoir of knowledge about how a lab so works.
That's great. You did very well today. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Thanks.